had a teacher say to me once, after I finished my presentation, this teacher came up and she said, oh, I'll tell you, she says, these young teachers got to understand, and my older colleagues need to understand, if you don't have hobbies in your life that fill your heart and fill your soul, the children kind of drain it over years and years, kind of like your battery going dead. Oh, she says, I think it's just important to have fun. And like me, she says, I have a garden. I don't do a lot of that exercise stuff. I walk, but I have a beautiful garden. I teach third grade, and I name my flowers after my students. Just like that, she said. And of course, she pulled me right into it. And I said, oh, that's precious. Oh, yes, she says, because if you have a bad day, well, you go home, pick them, and pluck their little heads off like that. I stand before teachers and I say, I have, depending on the presentation, 8 things to share, or 3 things to share, whatever. As soon as I say that, you hear this rustling of papers. What's that? It's the elementary teachers taking out their spiral notebook and their pens and their pencils, and they turn to their colleagues who all sit beside them, because it's like the principal said, now listen, we're going to the big school. Stay together. Stay together.
While Murray's focus and intensity as a world champion athlete make him a powerful speaker, it's his intimate knowledge of educators that will endear him to your teachers and administrators.
So now we've got the middle school teachers, and I say, I got 5 things I want to share with you today. And the middle school teachers look at each other and say, oh, shoot, you got a pen I can borrow? Then we've got the high school teachers. I say, I got 5 things I want to share with you this morning. And they say, if it was important, you should have put it on a ditto. Mandy, did the word ditto mean anything to you? How about this? Is this familiar to you? Here's what Mandy knows. Here's what Mandy knows. You ready? 23, enter. Who's got a piece of paper I can borrow? Can you tear a piece off for me? That's what Mandy knows. Here's what we know. You ready? Those of you, raise your hand if you started when Dr. Rick and I did in the 60s, somehow in education, yeah? All right, let's add to that. You keep your hands up and add to that 70s, 60s and 70s. Wow, you're old. No, you are chronologically gifted. Mandy knows 23, enter. Here's what we know. Or, I guess we hit a little close to home on that one, didn't we? Or if you had a particularly stressful week, you didn't even bother with the paper, you just unscrewed the top to the machine.
The Ironman Triathlon World Championship in Hawaii is one of the most challenging and inspiring athletic events in the world. Over 1,000 athletes swim 2.4 miles, bike 112 miles, and run a marathon 26.2 miles. 2 times, Murray raced to the elite top 50 in the world, and at the age of 40, set the American Masters record.
Are you familiar with the Ironman Triathlon? Hawaii? Swim 2.5 miles, bike 112 miles, run a marathon, 26 miles. It's stupid. I had seen it on TV and I said, that's dumb. 3 years later, there I am.
Murray is one of the few athletes in the world who has been a top finisher at a world championship in 2 different sports. In 1990, he retired from triathlons and devoted that energy to his demanding speaking schedule and to ski racing. In Norway and Switzerland, he was silver medalist. And in 1998, at the Olympic venue in Lake Placid, he was the Masters World Champion. The same energy, focus, and attitude that propelled Murray to 2 world championships inspire every audience he presents to. And the same skills that brought him national prominence as an educator Ensure that his audiences will take away specific skills that enhance their adaptability to change, enable them to perform better under pressure, and connect their lifestyle to the quality of their work.
It's exhausting to teach to every child's special needs. But here's what I think. The best teachers in your school district have been differentiating their instruction since the day they started teaching, because that's all they know inherently. Teach to the child. Get each child to the highest level that they can. We've got a lot of young new teachers. And I think back to my first year teaching and that transition that I explained to you. What a great time in America to have this rich blend of veterans saying, I'm going to share with you what I know. I'm going to be your mentor. I'm going to be your coach. I've got all this experience, but I want something in return. In return, I want your energy, your youthful energy. I want your idealism. I want your passion. Actually, I'd like you to show me how to use my computer. You can understand this. Your persona is key to influencing people around you. Could you imagine working on a committee, on a school board, having a teacher, colleagues, friends, family, with words like these? Especially that last one, alive. Raise your hand if you've ever worked with somebody who died, but continued coming to work for 10 or 12 years after they died. They show up all the time. You see them after lunch. They're the ones who are counting. Some are counting big numbers. Yeah. How do you keep that fire alive? How can you be a school board member, a school administrator for years and years and years and keep that fire alive? That is a real challenge, to do something for many years and keep that fire alive.
Change is an important theme in Murray's presentations, and he always challenges his audiences to continually adapt and to be agile, resilient, and innovative.
You remember the lava lamp? So this week you go buy a lava lamp. You take it out of the box, you're all excited, you plug it in, you turn it on, and what happens? Nothing. It's got to warm up. Yeah, it takes a long time for the heat of that light to create the chemical reaction. I mean, if you sat there and looked at it for 2 or 3 hours, which some of you did in the 70s, you know, eventually that thing would get moving. Now let's say it's sitting on your desk and you never turn it off. It goes 2 years and you never turn it off. It never stops changing. A lava lamp philosophy means we don't wait for a mandate to change what we do. We're always looking, thinking, adapting, adjusting. So we're agile. We're resilient. We don't like this, but we can do this if we have to. Yeah. Lava lamp philosophy. Jane, this next one's for you. You ready? Okay. Can change be bad? You're all sitting here going, yes, it can, but that's probably the wrong answer. Not all change is good. So here's the key. If something doesn't work, you don't complain, you don't whine, you don't ditch it, you tweak it, fine-tune it. What do we learn? Where do we go from here? Because when things don't turn out as planned, stay focused. Because as you know, things don't always turn out as planned. It's when you need to be agile and resilient. Why is it that leading teachers is so challenging? Why do principals tell me time and again that leading their teachers, getting them all to be effective as a team is so challenging? It's because when they go to the classrooms, they're king and queen. They run the show. They shut the door and they run the show. To get all those kings and queens to come together and work collectively is a real challenge. So one of your challenges in leadership is like herding cats.
This man right here is my great-grandfather. He's the first cat herder in our family.
Herding cats. Don't let anybody tell you it's easy.
Anybody can herd cattle. Holding together 10,000 half-wild short hairs, well, that's another thing altogether.
Being a cat herder is probably about the toughest thing I think I've ever done.
As every teacher knows, people learn best when they see and when they do. And I know when they laugh. So I'll incorporate 60 or 70 images into my presentation. They'll be laughing at them. They may have a tear in their eye when they see them. But I know when they can see it, and I can walk out into the audience, and they've got to raise their hands because I'm asking them questions. They're going to be totally involved in it. So far, about 7 of you have given an answer, and 2,000 of you are sitting here saying, are synonyms the ones that are spelled alike with sound ever? I'm looking around, I see somebody going, that's exactly what I was thinking, yeah. Could you get a sense of a person's persona before they ever say anything and you're about to meet them? You bet you can. Can you think of anything more important to your success as an educator than your style, your essence? This next picture is you and your colleagues arriving at school each morning. 2 years ago, I put this up, and I turned to the teachers and I said, I want you to come to school like this every day. And this guy, teacher, raised his hand and said, looks more like 3:30 to me. But you know what I'm after, don't you? It's your life. And I told you I'd finish where I started, and you're going to finish the sentence for me. And it's the most critical element in education today. Your life comes to school with you, and have a good one. Thank you.